This here is an Alienware desktop. It's an Aurora desktop. This here is an Alienware Aurora desktop. I got it actually really cheap from Amazon. It was an open box. So, I mean, at full price, these things can be maybe not the best value. I mean, compared to building, you can always get prices down. But there are advantages to buying a pre-made desktop. It's just easy. You just plug it in. So if you're a noob, that's good. And then of course, you get one singular warranty for the whole product. So if something goes wrong, you don't have to figure out what's wrong with it, that kind of stuff. So that's good. One of the limitations is always going to be things like upgradability and raw performance. Even if you get these for a good price, I got this for an excellent price, 1,700 Canadian dollars, which is an excellent price for what it is. There's always the questions of how good does it perform and is it upgradable. So it certainly looks nice. I mean, it's a good looking product here. Let's bring it over here. We get decent ports on the front. 3 USB-A, 1 USB-C in use. Get some RGB on it. But there, I/O and ports are not going to be staggeringly amazing or anything like that, but they're fine overall. We can see here on the back what we're getting for ports. Now we do have the GPU I/O as well. That's part of it. And then we do get our ports here. 4 USB-A, 2 USB-C. This is actually a 20 gigabit port, so that's nice and quick. Good for fast enclosures. Audio in that too. Ethernet. So I mean the ports are fine. Honestly, you get 2 USB-C on the back, one of them being quite fast. Lots of USB-A on the back and the front. So very internally, you can see we do have basically like a standard Intel fan, which is kind of weird. But we do have this fan here. It's very nice. It's like a metal robust two-piece fan down there. It's cool because it actually has this unit that you just pop right there, and you can pop the whole thing out. But I mean, if you wanted to swap an RGB or an AIO, which you could do, that'll just click, pop that out, put it in. But otherwise, it is going to pull air out, hot air out. We don't have the most front to back airflow, so it's not designed to be as good in terms of airflow as some devices. We don't have big fans here. You could probably mount something here. We do have a large fan on the back that's going to pull air out. It does run very quiet, these system fans. So just at idle, it's very quiet. The GPU here in this case is a 5070, so it's a good GPU. Very large, robust GPU as well. It's actually physically a very large GPU, which for a 5070 is great. It's going to run very cool. Under here we do have a 265F CPU. That cooler is a little Peasley for that CPU, to be honest. It'll work, but it will throttle a little bit, but it's not going to be like terrible, never work. But it is going to run loud. That thing's going to really rip when it needs to get some sound off. So that's one thing that's unfortunate there. Inside actually looks decent enough. Now they do have the one unfortunate thing of using proprietary motherboard shapes and sizes. It's kind of annoying. So you can see here it's like a weird L-shape motherboard, not a standard shape motherboard. Dell and I guess the Alienware stuff have been doing that for a very long time. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And from that we also get non-standard power connectors. So we do actually have a 1,000-watt power supply in here, which is massive. And it's not a standard size power supply. You can see it's kind of lower profile, just to keep this whole system relatively small. Like it's a physically short system considering what's in it, and the fact that we have this large area for an AIO if you want to put one in, but as a result the power supply is shrunk down, and it's a proprietary power supply. Now it is a very powerful power supply. You could easily swap out this GPU and put in something much more powerful than a 5070. You could easily support a 5080 with this power supply easily. Again, we do have some basic VRM coverage in here, some extra fan, like we have the CPU fan there. Again, it's not going to be a super expandable board. It's not an aftermarket board. That's one of the unfortunate things. We do have generic RAM here. It's not going to be super quick. It doesn't run super fast. It runs at a reasonable speed, I suppose, for DDR5, 5600 megatransfers. At least it's not like 48 or something, but certainly not the fastest. We do have a single NVMe, which is weird. They put in a 2230 size NVMe. That's always weird to see. There is a full height, though, that you just take that little bracket out there and put it up there, and all of a sudden you have a 2280. Second slot as well, same thing. So you can get 2 NVMEs in there, Wi-Fi easily obtainable there. If you can see that down there, it might be a little hard to see, but there is the first SATA there in blue, and there's a second SATA port there. The blue one is hooked up, there's nothing in there, but there's a hard drive caddy right here. So you can easily just pop in a large hard drive, get your games and your files stored on there, and very good. And then you have your fast NVMe, second storage. So even if you're doing heavy workloads, you could easily have your operating system on one, video files on a second NVMe, whatever it is you're working on that's heavy. Hard drive for, you know, just more archival type stuff, it'll be fine. And then you could actually put in a second SATA drive, either a hard drive or just a SATA SSD, and just plop it in there. It doesn't have any moving parts, just stick it in there or something like that. So, I mean, the expansion actually looks okay for what it is. The power supply is actually supplying two, you can see that there, two of the 8-pin style, and it runs into a 12-volt high power. So the one thing that you would need to be considerate of, you know, of like, does it only have a 12-volt high power? And like maybe you get one of these and later you want like an AMD GPU or something, a 9070 XT, which is much more powerful. You could just take this out, put that in, and just hook these up into the 9070 XT without any issues there. So it isn't like stuck with being that there. Otherwise, it looks okay. The only negative realistically inside of this that I wouldn't have liked to have seen is the little Peasley cooler. Everything else, I mean, it's fine for a little OEM thing. The only negative is if your power supply, your motherboard go, you will have to replace them with Dell parts or take them out and put in both new, which would be unfortunate. Again, it does have a warranty and a coherent warranty, so if something goes wrong, they can cover that. Now, the nice thing is this is just, you know, this is I got this for $10, 10 American dollars, which is wild. A Hyper 212 Elite White. You can get just the black one was 10 bucks more, so I was like, I'll just get the white one. Yeah, you can get coolers for so cheap these days, and this does appear to be just a standard size bracket there. So you can swap this out and get a better cooler. This thing, we will test it right now, kind of stock, see how it runs temperature-wise, thermals. But be aware that everything in here is going to run fine, honestly, probably other than the CPU cooler being poop. Okay, so here we are messing about. We can see here the little tiny NVMe. Despite being a little guy, it does run just totally fine. Mid-range Gen 4 speeds, so no problems there at all. I don't see any issues there. Let's see if it got hot. Kioxia, it's a Kioxia drive, that's why, and didn't get hot at all. 51 during a full run was the peak, so that's good. No problems there. Wi-Fi is fast too. My upload sucks where I am. For some reason, there's just like no upload speed, but the download is fast. That's as fast as mine can go. So good, and I'm not very close to my Wi-Fi, so the reception is actually pretty darn good for what it is, essentially. No problems there at all. And we can see here, like I said, 265F, 32 gigabytes of RAM, not running super fast, but it'll be fine, to be honest. Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi 7, so you would expect it to have pretty good signal on that too. 5070. Now, what I want to do here, check noise and thermals, wattages, all that kind of stuff here. We'll do it kind of live. So idle, it's very quiet. My noise floor is about 34, 35. I can hear that there is a computer in here, but it's not any noisier than just my noise floor. It just changes the acoustics. Very close to being silent. Now, once we start hitting the CPU, I do expect it to get fairly loud and hot because of that tiny Peasley little thingy there. So we'll come in here, we'll just do a CPU test, then I'll load up a game, check the, you know, thermals and that. They don't really have to do too much performance testing. We know what the CPU and the GPU can do. They've been out for a very long time. So CPU there. Now again, it's an F variant, it's not a K variant, so it's not going to have as high watts as the K variant, but it still can boost. You see, it did drop 178 watts into the CPU there for a moment, and then it immediately throttled, essentially. Dropped down here, now we're down to 66. I mean, we're not throttling. I mean, maybe it is enough to handle. It's just a little F CPU, right? The F CPUs are designed to run at 65 watts or so. That's like the TCP of them. They can boost, obviously short term, they'll throttle for a second and then they'll come in here. So, I mean, that's not going to give us the same, like you can see 265. It's not going to give you the same as like an unlocked 265K with a big beefy cooler or anything like that. But I mean, it's running relatively okay, I suppose. We are getting some throttling. That's probably all that that little CPU thing can handle. But let's kick out now. I will load up a game. We'll check noise and thermals in a game, and we'll see if we can improve that at all. Okay, so here we are in the game. We're just going to do Spider-Man because I feel like it. I don't know why. I'm just feeling like testing Spider-Man. So, I mean, I'm not really too concerned about the performance. We know what a 5070 can do. This is high settings at 4K with balanced scaling. Ooh, whatever. It's interesting. Yeah, the 5070 is going to have no problem in this game. It's a powerful enough GPU. It's maybe not the best value GPU in the market, but it certainly is capable and does the job. So that's good. I've been running this intro for a while. What I'm going to do here is just sit for a minute here. I'm going to let the thing run and check, thermals on that, but we'll check noise. It's definitely louder under gaming than just doing nothing, but I mean, it's pretty quiet. It's not silent, but it would not bother me. This is the type acoustic level that would be where I'm like, okay, I'm fine with this, because the noise is down here coming from here. It's right beside us. I don't typically have my gaming desktop on my desk. It's underneath the desk, and you'd barely hear it. It wouldn't be picked up by the mic. It would be not that audible, or if you're on the other side, it primarily we're hearing it because it's right here. But it's certainly not annoying by any means here. Let's check some of the thermals. CPU looks like it is still a little angry. Again, it's a tiny piece, a little cooler there. At 4K, it's not going to make a big difference, but if you're doing lighter resolutions and higher FPS, it might become a little bit of an issue. We'll come down here, though. Where's our GPU? There we go. GPU is not even remotely hot there. 50, yeah, that's really cool, actually. I mean, it's a big 5070, to be honest. It's a very big 5070, and from everything I've seen personally, I've had a few different Dell GPUs, and Gamers Nexus has done extensive teardowns over the years, and they have agreed with my personal assessments that the Dell GPUs are actually very good quality. They're well built. And so, I mean, yeah, 63 and 62 is nothing, right? That's not hot at all whatsoever. We're able to maintain full wattage without any issues there. So the 5070 here is quite good, honestly. There's some ups and downs with the Aurora versus the Alienware, the big boys, the Area 51 type stuff. Maybe some slight differences there, but overall, I mean, I'm not going to complain about their GPUs. They are very well built. I've even had like their 5080 Ti dual fan, and honestly, that's a hot GPU in general. It ran pretty well. I've had one of the 3090s before. I've had one of their 4080s before, and honestly, they all run really well. So that's good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with everything so far for what it is. Let's kick out for a minute here, though. Okay, so we're just going to check the thermal paste here and see what's going on under here with this Peaslee little stock Intel fan. This is actually going to work, I think. It's hilarious. It's like a quarter or maybe even like a tenth of a millimeter off in terms of just like a native fit. But it doesn't matter. It actually fits. And I mean, this cooler is, like I said, it's cheap. It's a cheap cooler, but the comparison in terms of performance is, in theory, this should be a massive cooling boost to the system here. And honestly, it's going to make it pretty damn viable. Maybe not the best looking cooler. If it's in white, you might want to get a black one. Put it in here unless you really like the contrast. But you could certainly get this cooler in black and pop it in here and you'll be cooking, right? So I'm pretty excited about this, actually. This is going better than anticipated. We'll put it that way. They actually give you a couple brackets on this too. They give you 2 extras, so you could actually mount another fan on the back of this. They give you the ability to do that. This one only comes with one fan, but it does give you the ability to just pick up another fan and put it on, or pick up two fans and mount a dual fan setup on this cooler. That's cool. You can enhance the, I guess technically the airflow. I don't think we're gonna have any problems anymore with this thing. There we go, boom, look at that. Crazy. That's crazy that worked. Let's plug it back in. Look at that. The white looks a little weird, but I mean, it doesn't look that bad, to be honest. Okay, that's the first one. Again. Hell yeah. Look at that. Again, if you got a black one, it would look pretty cool. It doesn't look terrible with the little white thing, honestly. But again, you could just get a black one of these, a Hyper 12 in black, and boom, there you go. All of a sudden, you are absolutely cooking with this guy here. So let's continue testing. Okay, we're back now with our beefed up cooler. Massively beefed up cooler. It's funny because it's like a cheap budget cooler, but the amount of upgrade here should be pretty considerable. CPU is idling sub 40 now, even with the Windows boot. It might jump up and down with stuff, but yeah, it's pretty damn good. I don't think there's any noise difference. Basically the same, thin margin of error. Okay, let's run it. So again, thermals here. We'll see where we're at here. We were throttling immediately on the previous cooler, like literally immediately. Absolutely no throttling here. I mean, it's such a cheap upgrade, right? It's such a cheap upgrade. Now we're getting up to the top. So 30 versus 80, very good. Well, look at the wattage sustained. We were at 170 and we were dropping down right away to 65 watts. I wonder what we can maintain here. I'll do the scores again after. I was messing around at the beginning, but yeah, let's stop it here for a sec. We'll come back. I just want to kind of let the system be idle. I want to do a full run here. Okay, let's give it a proper test here now that Windows has stopped doing Windows things. Come in here, just kind of see what wattages we get, what kind of performance we get. Again, if you don't have hardware info running, it'll run better. But yeah, it's going to dump a ton of watts in right away, obviously. That'll give you your boost processing here. It was maintaining only like 65, 60 watts before because it was throttling so bad. We're not getting that, at least not yet. And if we are throttling, it's going to be throttling at a higher temperature. Massive jump in performance. Holy crap. We were at 20. Were we even at 20,000? We were way down. We've added like 50% performance here. We're at 30,000 now all of a sudden just by adding that cooler, right? The boost before was immediately dropped down and throttled like crazy. The boost here was longer and we're maintaining 35 watts more or 25 watts more. Actually, it's about 35 watts more. Yeah, way better performance. Holy crap. Might even be quieter. Yeah, so I mean, honestly, $10 for that. I'd say the average mean price is probably 15 to 20 for one of these Hyper coolers. I'd probably get the black one as well. I probably wouldn't do the white one just for the look. Looks okay, but the black one would be more suited. And all of a sudden we're gaming now. We got a real system now. Look at that huge jump in performance on the CPU. Like honestly, we increased like 50% wattages, which is good for one of these, and significantly more performance. And that also means that because it can accept a stock cooler with just very minimal tweaking, you're going to be able to add even more cooling to this thing. Now this is just a 265F. Down the road, maybe you pick up a cheap 285K, more powerful CPU, more watts, and then you just get an even bigger CPU cooler. I think this is fine for this one. I don't see any problems. I don't see any problems with this CPU, the 265F, the lower wattage offering, with this extra cooler here. It definitely is outperforming the stock cooler. I don't know. Suddenly this thing's actually pretty interesting to me, just being able to do that simple upgrade. It really does push it quite a bit further for me. Okay, here we are back with our better cooler. Now, I don't expect much of a performance boost, if any, really here, because this is a 4K gaming experience with a GPU heavy game, not a CPU heavy game, so it's not gonna make a huge difference. But if you were doing 1440p or especially 1080p gaming on this thing, competitive gaming, where you're going to be slamming the CPU, it would make a huge difference. The reason being is we're actually able to use the CPU now. Close that down. Whereas before we were just absolutely lambasting the CPU. It was actually throttling even in a GPU heavy game at 4K. I mean, that's where you really knew that, the cooling was not really up to the task. But, a $10, $15, $20 upgrade, and now the CPU it's just not throttling, right? It's just not throttling anymore. It was throttling horribly before. The CPU is able to do what it's supposed to do and essentially feed watts to the GPU. That's what the difference is here. So the GPU obviously is no different here. I mean, the GPU might even theoretically run cooler because there's just more air moving through the case in general. That CPU fan is suddenly getting air in and out better overall. So technically, I mean, the GPU could even run cooler, but the big thing is the CPU is going to be actually able to feed the GPU. So if you're paying at 4K, sure, it is going to make a difference. The CPU won't throttle, especially heavier CPU games. Obviously, CPU heavy tasks like rendering, co-compile, that kind of stuff, it's going to be a huge difference. But if you are gaming at lower resolutions, 1440p or especially 1080p, but probably either, honestly, it is actually going to make a huge difference in terms of that. And it's quieter. At least to me, it seems to be quiet. I don't know about the mic will pick it up and that kind of stuff, but it just sounds better. So, I mean, now all of a sudden we're gaming, right? Now all of a sudden we've taken this system that, the stock price, MSRP is too high, but you can get these things on sale all the time. You can get them open box like I did all the time. Even from Dell itself, you can get them with like sales and coupons, that kind of stuff, student discounts, back to school stuff, all kinds of crap. And yeah, I don't like that the motherboard and power supply aren't swappable, but I mean, it seems to be a good motherboard. And the power supply is overkill, massive overkill, if anything. You can easily upgrade the GPU down the road with this thing. My only real critique was that little Peasley garbage cooler, but I spent $10. I guess, yeah, it was about probably about $12 with tax to get my CPU performance up by 50 or potentially even longer, even better. It might even be 60 or 70%, and just not throttling. It's quieter, it runs better, and it runs well. So now all of a sudden, we've got a system that if I didn't have a desktop, I literally just built a desktop with, interestingly, similar CPU, a 265K desktop, and it does have a 5070 Ti, but it's similar. It's similar enough. Honestly, if I didn't just build that a week and a half ago, I would have just used this system. No lie, I would have just used this system as my primary. I'm not going to because I already have a desktop, but this thing is up to the task for me. I have no problems, absolutely no problems running this system here. So I'm happy with it. Honestly, it's funny how one tweak, like a little single CPU upgrade, CPU cooler upgrade, was all it took to really get me happy. I was okay with it, and I was really worried about that CPU, this little turdlet here. I mean, yeah, it is unfortunate that Dell just didn't put in a better cooler. But $10, it cost me $10, and there was no tweaking. I just put it in. I didn't do anything. I didn't take out the motherboard. I literally just put it in the system, and that is more than enough for a 265F. Honestly, that thing there. You can get dual coolers. You can get beefier ones. You could get a Thermalright 130 or something like that, or Be Quiet, whatever. But the height on this is good. Like, it actually fits in there with no problems whatsoever. It looks good. So I just get yourself one of these. Hyper 212. Get a black one. Personally, I'd get a black one, put it in there, and you're actually cooking. So that's the Alienware Aurora. It went from okay, fine, like it's whatever, to actually like really compelling, to the point of like I will be sad to see it go, because I like the idea of just taking something that was just not quite there, putting in like such a cheap ass upgrade, and all of a sudden you're cooking. So yeah, I like it.